it was after I fell ill. It took a while for the rash to come out, and then I started getting all kinds of other rashes from Bartonella and babesiosis and all these other things. I had lots of breathing problems, and I think that's from one of them, one of the co-infections. They all hit different things, but it's been a long road, and almost 5 years, and it's October now, so it's October 8th, and it's pretty much 5 years, but I have been in treatment for a few months, so luckily didn't quite hit 5 years, and then started treatment, and now we're at another dilemma where the doctor is going to lose his license, so he's pulled the antibiotics, and during my antibiotic treatment I had problems with high liver enzymes, and my body's not really processing the antibiotics very well, and of course when the Lyme dies off, they release toxins and gases in your body, and that's called a Herx reaction, and you get really sick and you have all kinds of episodes with that. Mild to severe. I mean, I've had convulsions, I think 3 or 4 times so far with the severe ones. And it usually lasts about half an hour. But with the herxing and all that, you know, your liver has to be able to process all these toxins. And mine wasn't doing very well, and I started to feel different in the last little while, and then I saw my liver test. So I am off the antibiotics right now, because you do not want your liver to start to fail, or you know, the toxins can go into your bloodstream, and you can get some severe blood poisoning, which can be fatal. So you don't want to deal with any of that stuff. So I came off 13 days early of my 3-month treatment, which is not too bad, and I am now starting on the Cowden support program, which is Herbal's liquid form. They're from Peru actually, and they attack the spirochete and the cyst and the biofilm. But it will be nice, you know, not having those pills, not worrying about any of the pill symptoms like, you know, dizzy spells and severe dry mouth, the disgusting taste in your mouth, like metal all the time, and popping the pills, and you lose your taste buds. I don't know if you can see, I have like nothing on my tongue. It's burnt all my taste buds off. The antibiotics are extremely strong, and you know, it gives you GI issues, and just the meds itself make you dizzy and make you feel sick, and then you're herxing, and you're feeling nauseous extremely, and hot and cold fevers and everything else, and muscle pains and severe pains actually, but also the convulsions and severe fatigue. So I have to say this 3 months, almost 3 months of treatment hasn't been fun at all. I've actually hated it. I am so thankful to be off these antibiotics. It's only my 2nd day off, and I feel better off them. And I know that now I have to give my liver time to kind of level out a bit before starting the 2nd treatment and fighting on. So, but anyways, these herbs, you know, they, like I said, they'll relieve all the medical things and the GI symptoms, and also just liver issues with you know, bloating and tightness and just not feeling well. That's all going to be gone. And when they first, I had to order them. We actually ordered them from the United States, because the doctor, the Lyme literate MD, is in the United States. I think he's in Panama, Florida, and you know, he's very nice and able to talk through Facebook and answer all our questions, which was really helpful. and you know, give us the program that he invented and that was set up on the site in the States, so we could order directly through there. And it's not too bad. We do have a naturopath here, but I think it's going to run about $2,000 a month, which is just totally not affordable. So, but I think it's going to be, well, we ordered about $125 or $150 plus probiotics, like say $200 a month. I have no idea how far this med will take me, because it goes by drops, and it depends on how fast you get to your herxing point, because when you get to that point you kind of stabilize, and everyone's different, so I have no idea, but it'd be nice if it lasted a month. Just trying to think if I can say anything else. Doctors need to be more aware of what Lyme disease is, aware of the symptoms, and bring up that I think you have Lyme, and we don't treat it in Canada, but you know, you need to go to this lab, you need to get your blood work done, I'll sign it off for you, you need to go see a Lyme literate, you know, MD or naturopath. You can go for treatment in the States if there isn't one here. They need to provide you with all that and diagnose you quick and get treatment quickly, or guide you to treatment quickly, which would have avoided so much pain. And like, I mean, this whole illness that me and my daughter have gone through for 5 years, like, they call me the $5 million woman, but honestly, if they would have got off their butts at the beginning and been aware of Lyme disease and the symptoms, and that I had all 100 of them, you know, maybe after the first year or two, they would have went, wow, you know, you've been tested for so many things and they're all negative, you know, let's actually look at infections. And they didn't even send me to an infectious disease doctor. Like, I think now they're going to send me to one. It's like, okay, I've, you know, already been clinically diagnosed, the blood work supported it, diagnosed again, and I'm on treatment, but you want to send me to an infectious disease doctor. Now, I don't know what he'll do, but okay. So it's a little too late, and you know, if they would have just looked at this earlier on, they're complaining about, you know, they say it lightheartedly, but you know, we know that they think that, yeah, I've caused the medical system a lot of money, but because I'm pretty persistent, we'll go in there and be kind of forthright and ask a lot of questions and press to get, you know, basically, we actually diagnosed me ourselves because nobody knew what was going on, and that's what we thought, and that's the path we took, you know, beyond what they said. So, you know, you're self-advocating the whole way. You're doing everything by yourself when it comes to Lyme disease, and it shouldn't be that way. You should have support in the medical team. You should have support in getting diagnosed early and avoiding all that for the, you know, the next so many years. And you should have proper treatment and proper monitoring through Lyme treatment, because it's a serious thing and it's a serious illness, it's a serious treatment, and you need to be monitored. And none of that, unfortunately, is available. Even the blood test, you gotta have better testing too, and make, you know, I said to the doctor, how come you guys don't know about Lyme disease? And he says no. And I said, why don't you doctors know about Lyme disease? Why don't you? And he just kind of looked at us and just, I don't know. So, you know, it's not that it's not out there, because it is out there. There is Lyme literate naturopaths and doctors, MDs and MDs, that turn around and say, hey, we're doing this huge seminar, come get educated. And no one shows up. So it's not like the means are not out there, because they are. They're just making the choice to avoid learning about it, because when they learn about it and, you know, they have a Lyme patient, it comes to an issue of treatment, because the College Board of Doctors You know, they really don't want to treat chronic Lyme patients. They don't believe in it. And so what ends up happening is the doctors are put in a position that, oh my God, my patient's sick and this family needs help, and I can only give them 1 month antibiotics and I can't help them. So they really don't want to be put in that position. They don't want to go there. If they do go there and they go beyond the month treatment, many Lyme literate MDs and MDs have actually lost their license. And a lot of insurance companies, when they see patients with Lyme disease keep claiming and claiming, they actually revoke the insurance and they say they're no longer covering that. So they're, you know, because antibiotics are costly and they're long term, and everybody that has Lyme disease, like if they all came out of the woodwork, it would cost the medical system a lot of money. But I think, you know, there's different ways of handling it, and it's always about money, you know. So now that I have Lyme disease, for us it's about the money because it's not covered anywhere else, and so now we have to deal with that on top of the illness and on top of all the obstacles that we had, even getting a diagnosis and getting blood work done and even getting any treatment, and now not receiving treatment and trying to get other treatment and then having to pay for it. And so, you know, when you're not well and you're going through this, you know, it's pretty challenging. You know, for me, ironically, my job was customer service and sales prior to getting sick. And when I got sick, I had to give up everything, my job and everything. But so I'm kind of an outspoken person, and my daughter is too. So we just kind of truck in someplace. Hey, I have Lyme disease. This is me. This is my daughter. You know, we want to put a fundraising box in here. Are you up for it? How long can we leave it here? You know, and so it was pretty easy for us, but at the same time, it was work, and I just don't think you should have to do that when you're sick. And I think it should be taken care of. So my point is that, you know, instead of complaining about, you know, oh, you're spending so much money and these tests cost money, and just sticking their head in the sand, you know, it's like, why don't you get your head out of the sand and look at it from the very beginning? And if you were aware of this, and if you knew the symptoms, and you could tell me, I think you have Lyme, and this is how I can direct you and get help and get a diagnosis and get treatment quickly, then I wouldn't have ended up costing all that money later. I wouldn't have ended up suffering all that time later. And me and my daughter wouldn't have had to go through this illness for, you know, at that extreme all this time later. Because we would have been, everything would have happened quicker, and I don't know, we just would have got, you know, a hold of it maybe a little bit, and which is better. But so that's our story. I have Lyme disease and co-infections, and if anyone has any questions or comments, you know, feel free to message or comment down below. And if anyone is chronically ill and nobody really knows what it is, and it's gone on for, I think a year or 2 years is enough time to, in my opinion, a year to 2 years is pretty solid to know that it's not these big things, these, I shouldn't say big, these common things like MS or cancer or whatever. If you're not diagnosed at that time and you're still going through tests and the doctors still don't know what you have, I would honestly suggest getting a hold of Hygienics Labs in California, and just phoning them and asking them for direction on how to get tested, and you got to have a doctor on board to sign off on a Lyme kit to even get you to the lab in Canada to get it to the States. Then you have to pay the FedEx fees and the fees for the blood. But anyways, it is an outlet. It is a possibility, and you can, you know, go from there and check out how much antibiotics your doctor would be willing to give you. And even if you started on a month, you could go from there. So I thought this was going to be a short video, but I could probably talk so much more about this topic. Anyways, I did a video, we did one before, but it didn't turn out too well. So hopefully you can hear us better on this one. And I know the picture will be better because I just got my daughter this iPhone for her birthday. Anyways, I'm just trying to think of anything else. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I can think of. And anyone who's chronically ill or has Lyme disease, I know that the road is tough and trying, and you know, just all I can say is we never gave up, and we got some answers and some treatment. So if you're in the midst of trying to get diagnosed and nobody knows what it is, just don't give up, and you know, definitely self-advocate. We had to do that. Don't listen to every single thing the doctor says, because you know, I had one doctor tell me I will never run again in my life when I was diagnosed with soft tissue rheumatism by a rheumatologist. And I just shook my head like, yeah, right. You know, I did long distance running as a child, and I love long distance running, and me and my daughter do it, and I just thought, no, I'm still going to do it. And then I went out and tried it, and I had, you know, had some spit up some blood, and I thought, oh, okay. So I stopped. But then I did try again later, and I started running, and now I can run a mile. So, you know, I know that they are supposed to be the professionals, but they are not God, and they are not miracle workers, and they have opinions. They're human, you know, like everyone else, and they have different opinions, and just listen to what the doctor says, but at the same time, you know, go with your gut feeling. If you feel you can do something, try it. And if it's not working, take a break and try it again. And it might work. And it did for me. And, you know, I've been told just a lot of different things from doctors. And, you know, it's not... It's kind of, the comments are, you know, to tell someone they'll never do something again. That's a very, very strong comment, and I realize they're going on their expertise and you know, their findings at that time. But I don't know, me and my daughter are just very positive and like, well, you know, we're going to get out of this one and get out of this. And I just think if you keep trying and never give up, you will get some answers, and you will get some treatment, and you will get somewhere. And I know our journey at the beginning was very confusing. It was, we had just lost a friend to cancer, and then we had, we were being told that I had stomach cancer, and we got totally prepared for that, and it wasn't stomach cancer, and it was an emotional roller coaster. And I just told my daughter, you know what, let's just wait until, you know, they say you have this, because, you know, obviously it looks like I really have this and I really have that, and then you prepare yourselves and then you don't have it, and it's just emotional roller coaster. So we decided to do that, and I can't tell you how many things have been run past us. You know, you have a brain aneurysm, you have a brain tumor, you know, you've got a myocardial ischemia, and you've got, you know, lung issues. They thought I had I don't even know, half the cirrhosis of the liver and a bunch of lung problems and, oh, diabetes. It's diabetes. It's just, it's MS, it's lupus, it's cancer, it's Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's, you know, they test me for AIDS, they test me for sexual diseases, they test me for H. pylori, eating bacteria of your stomach. They test me for so many different things. And, you know, they thought I had Parkinson's, and they thought muscular dystrophy. And because it imitates so much, you know, like, honestly, me and my daughter, we're not doctors, but we noticed it was just fleeting and moving in nature, back and forth, going all over the place. Some symptoms would be persistent, and others would be on the edge and then go bad, but then kind of be on the edge again. So we just noticed it was attacking every part of me. And even my hair, like my hair was falling out, you know, my eyes were swelling. It was so weird, like every part of you, you know, is being attacked by this disease, and you're just slowly withering. So if you're in that position where you haven't been diagnosed yet and you're going through all this and a couple of years have gone by, nobody knows what you have, you're a mystery, as they put it, a mystery illness, or they just throw their hands up in the air like they did to us so many times. I don't know what it is, never seen anything like this before. You know, just comments. And I have to say, I have to say one thing about things that I'm hearing a lot from Lyme patients that we've been talking to, is that, you know, and not just Lyme patients, but when I was chronically ill, and we didn't even know I had Lyme yet, they always say, you know, oh, it's stress, it's anxiety, it's depression. And if they can throw those 3 labels on you and hand you some drugs, it, you know, basically top coats everything and removes you out of the office. And you're just, you know, you walk away. I know some patients that have walked away thinking they're depressed, and they're on depression medication. And, you know, eventually they find out that they have Lyme disease. And it's just, I find it like really weird that they jump to those conclusions. And I think because they're easy diagnosis. And I did hear a doctor say one time that when you come to, a patient and family comes to see the doctor, there's a lot of pressure on him in the first 15 minutes to make some kind of diagnosis. So, you know, in something like this, it can't be done that quickly. So I guess they're looking at anxiety, stress, and depression, and they give you your meds and you're on your way. And that's not right. I mean, I honestly think that in order to be clinically diagnosed with depression, like I worked at the Richmond Crisis Center, and I dealt with a lot of people who were depressed and had manic depression. And I had a huge study guidebook that I had to meet all the criteria before I could say that I think, you know, you're suffering from depression. And that is, I think, you know, further to that, I would, you know, recommend them off to a psychiatrist who would know for sure. And if they needed, you know, the appropriate medication, the psychiatrist could actually give it to them. I would never come out and say, you know, you're depressed and you need this medication. And you know, I have to say that doctors study all kinds of things, but you know, I was studying that for the whole year I was there, and I still, you're not allowed to say that. And I think that it's quite easy for a doctor to say, oh, you're suffering anxiety, because you know, there's really no proof that you're not. There's really no proof that you're not stressed. There's really no proof that you're not depressed. I mean, you could slap those labels on everybody. I could meet 10 people and slap labels on them too, but you know, because there's really no one to argue with me about it except for the patient. And if the patient feels that they're not depressed, you know, there's that turnover where a lot of people that are depressed, you know, they're in the beginning, they're kind of in denial, like, I'm not depressed, you know. And so I don't know, it just seems to work in the doctor's favors. And I hate when I hear somebody went to the doctors and they've been slapped that as the first thing, and that really bothers me. That's one of our pet peeves. Lucky for me, we have no stress in our lives, and we're a loving, happy family. I'm not working, and we're very positive, outgoing people. And I never had, at any time, a psychiatrist or mention that you should see a psychiatrist, or I think you're depressed, or I think this. But, you know, sometimes patients have, you know, got told that. And I think that, you know, that should be, if a doctor's telling you that he thinks you're depressed or you think you're depressed, you know, there is a difference between being depressed and, you know, to the point where, like, you can be sad, and you can be upset, and you can be depressed, but then you can come out of it. And, you know, depression or manic depression, you just kind of stay in it. And the road gets longer and longer and worse and more hopeless and more hopeless. And eventually, you're not really coming out of that, you know. Basically, you can be sad, but then kind of come back out of it. But if you feel that you're sad and you're sad and you're sad and you're sad, then you should get checked out for depression. You should mention it to your doctor and say, I think I might be depressed, and go to a psychiatrist, because they are the only ones, or a psychologist. But a psychiatrist is better because they can diagnose you, but they can also treat you. And I think that psychologists, there's some, their hands are tied when it comes to giving some medications. But I know a psychiatrist can give you whatever you need. And I'm not knocking psychologists, but, you know, psychiatrist has a higher level of education, and they would definitely be able to tell you if you are depressed or if you're just going through a state of, you know, feeling down and coming out of it type thing. But I really think that that's a serious issue. I know that a lot of chronic illnesses and Lyme disease cause depression after starting the disease. I have to make that clear. And, you know, we've unfortunately lost quite a few people to suicide for Lyme disease, which is very sad. And, you know, I just think that if you're feeling not well mentally during any illness, that it's okay to reach out and say, you know what, I can't do this, I can't handle this, this is overwhelming, I don't feel that I'm, you know, progressing in my life, I feel like I'm degressing. Whatever you're feeling, hopelessness or despair, then you should speak up, even if it's to a friend or your mom or even your doctor, and just say that I'd like to see a psychiatrist. And then you'll know. But it's not something to mess around with, and it's very serious in any illness, and you should definitely address it. And to all the people out there who've lost their lives to any illness, regardless if it's complication or suicide, and to Lyme disease, our hearts go out to you. We definitely understand the disease, and it's very sad, but let's try not to continue that path, and let's try to be there for each other and talk openly. Anyways, I also have a Facebook page under Andrea Jeanette, and you can Facebook friend request me. I started with a small page about my illness. I have all my terrible, terrible pictures on there, and all my embarrassing ones, all my sick moments, and we post everything up there. And we got some nice pictures of me and my daughter up as well, and pictures when I'm feeling a bit better. But you can always friend request, and we can chat. Don't feel shy or scared to message me or friend request. I accept all the friend requests, and I think it's good to talk to each other about all this kind of stuff. Maybe we can learn something from you, and you can learn something from us. All the Lymies have to get together, and families, and have to really push this awareness and push for long-term treatment. It should be covered, and eventually we're hoping that boulder will move and fall off the mountain, but at this point it's slowly pushing. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow, October 9th and October 10th, I think it's on CTV, and I can't remember her name now. Kathy, here's my memory thing. Kathy, I don't know, she's a pretty blonde woman, and she's a newscast and a caster, and she's doing a thing on Lyme disease, and then there's a show called The Nature of Things. I think it's on CTV at 8 o'clock. I think there's one tomorrow on the 9th and one on the 10th. So feel free to watch those and learn more about it, get the word out. And yeah, I have a really awesome herbal program that I'm going to be doing, and this is where you can kind of take this into your own hands, and when those MDs are not working with you, this is when you can take it into your own hands and order them and take them and monitor yourself. And I know that you should have a Lyme literate MD, but not everybody can afford $2,000 for a naturopath, and not every MD will support you through this process. So unfortunately, the Lyme patients and families are by themselves, and we have to do it ourselves. So that's what we're going to do, and we're excited about it, and should be starting the program soon. So anyways, if you have any questions or comments about that, because if you're a Lyme patient and things are not going well in your treatment, or you can't afford it, this might be an option for you. Maybe only $125 a month so far. I can let you know down the road, but that's what it is so far. Okay, so thanks. I'm going to check out now. Anyways, everybody take care. Hope you found this video of ours informative, and I hope you, it makes you think a little bit about a lot of different things, and feel free to Facebook me. Okay? Thank you. Bye.